Mayor Mike Duggan has long been focused on growing the population of Detroit. He long ago said that was how he expected to be judged as the city's mayor. But the drop in population measured by the U.S. Census has far bigger implications than just our sense of how the city is doing. There are massive federal dollars in the balance and representative seats and on and on. And this week, the mayor delivered research that he and others believe prove the count was way off. And Mayor Duggan joins me to talk about that and more. Mayor, Merry Christmas. Really appreciate the time today.
Happy holidays to you, Devin.
Thank you. Let's go ahead and start with the census, since that was the news of the week. You have long said, for months now, that you believe there was a miscount. But you said something really interesting in your remarks this week. You said the undercount was intentional, which is a pretty serious accusation to make. What do you mean?
Well, it's the same thing I said last October when the previous administration ended the census a month early and hadn't sent enumerators down to Detroit until the very end. But the University of Michigan did an exhaustive study and released their results yesterday that say Detroit was undercounted by, it looks like, at least 8%, which means instead of the 639,000 residents the U.S. government says we have, the University of Michigan says we have 700,000. And DTE Energy, which has gas and utilities services, also says we have 700,000. So now we have the hard data to go make the case for our appeal.
I imagine there are some cities like Austin, Texas, that will be completely fine with the census findings, but many municipalities, I imagine, will be upset about what they fear is an undercount. How likely do you think it is that fighting these numbers can get you anywhere?
Well, different cities have had different effect, but I don't know of anybody who's had a university study where they actually took the census count block by block on how many houses there were and then walked the same neighborhoods themselves. But it was absurd. I mean, the Census Bureau said that 20% of the homes in Boston, Edison, and Green Acres were empty. I said, come on down and walk the blocks with me. You show me where there's 1 out of 5 vacant houses. And one of the things that U of M showed was that the post office was delivering mail to far more houses than the Census Bureau found. And if they had just followed the postman, they'd have had a better count.
So the appeals are going to be filed. We'll see where all of that goes. Mayor, let's move, if we could, now to COVID. We are obviously in the middle of a horrendous now surge again. And the vaccine rate in your city remains, sadly, deplorably low, 44%, we learned this past week. What do you do about that? I know we've started a new door-to-door campaign, but is it going to be enough? And how do you break through to the Detroiters who have been resistant all along?
Well, it's Detroit, and it's lots of places in the country. At this point, there is no place in America where it's easier to get a vaccine than the city of Detroit. You can go to the pharmacies, you can come down to the TCF Center, we'll come to your house, and people know that it's available. And we're at a point now where people are hospitalized and in some cases tragically dying because of the choices they make. But, you know, the city is making sure it's available to everybody. Testing's available to everybody. I've had my 3rd shot. I'll take the 4th shot the first day they allow me to. And, you know, I don't know what more we can do. At this point, people are making choices and suffering the consequences.
Sadly, that was my sense of it, too. My experience getting mine at the TCF Center, it worked like clockwork. It was extraordinarily well run, I thought, but that's what left me saddened about the whole thing. It is really easy to get the shot. It's available and a pretty great process, and the fact that so many people aren't is kind of sad.
No, and we have so much going on in city government with everything that we're doing, all the development that's coming, all the federal programs. And in January, within the executive offices of the mayor, we're going to have a policy that nobody comes into the executive offices for meetings without evidence of a vaccine, because I need my folks on site working, and it's my obligation to protect them. And so you might have to have a Zoom call or the like, but at least we're going to do our part here, keep the city running smoothly.
Nikolai Vitti, superintendent of Detroit Public Schools, announced this past week that they are installing a vaccine mandate. I'm curious how you feel about it specifically for the schools, but vaccine mandates in general.
Yeah, I think Dr. Vitti has done an excellent job handling this from the beginning. I think he's worked well with the teachers union on this, and this is really a business by business, industry by industry decision, and I think I really am pleased with the way DPSCD has worked with the unions.
We've had obviously a really bad stretch here for schools all over Southeast Michigan. After what happened in Oxford, all of the copycat threats, we've already got so many parents and teachers under stress with remote learning. Give me a thumbnail on your concerns about what's happening to education, particularly for Detroit kids right now.
Well, you know, the biggest issue has been the lack of participation from COVID. And I know it's been a challenge, and Dr. Vitti had gone to 4 days a week even before the Oxford tragedy. But I think they're doing what they can. We've gotten laptops to everybody, but there's no doubt children learn better when they're in their classroom, and we need to get back to regular attendance at the earliest possible date.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about development in the city. We had the big announcement a week ago about the U of M Innovation Center moving down in the Foxtown area. We've got the announcement on the old American Motors headquarters. But we've also had things that we see like the Packard plant, a deal that was long promised and hoped for that kind of apparently it feels like the city was sold a bill of goods that weren't going to happen. Even Dan Gilbert's tower downtown is being scaled back. So I'm really curious on your take on how much of this is COVID driven and exactly where are we right now on a lot of big projects that we think are really important to the city.
Well, let me correct you on something. We were never a part of that Packard plant deal. I was against that particular owner from day one and have done everything I can to enforce the law. The city owns most of the south side. We've taken out large sections already and about to take out another section. And we're going to do whatever it takes to get the Packard plant redeveloped. But all you got to do is drive around the city, Devin. There is more construction going on in the city of Detroit today than any time in the last 50 years. It's really astonishing to see the number of cranes in the sky. The Huntington headquarters is being completed. The train station work and all the development around Ford. We've got housing projects, drive through Brush Park, the speed with which those units are going up. And Dan Gilbert's Hudson site is rising from the ground. So I'm pleased at the way things are going, but each individual deal is complicated. And for most of these deals, we've got a suburban competitor who's got a greenfield site that's competing for these same companies. And we're in a real combat with really good suburban competitors, but we're winning our share. It's
been a while since you and I talked about this, though. From the start of the pandemic, we started to see the impact, though, of this because so much city development is built around workplaces and workspace. And now we got a huge revolution going on in American work right now, and people are not, it would appear, not going to need as much office space in the future. What does that do to the way that we view and develop our city?
Yeah, well, I think that's going to be true of every major city in the country. Yes. Of course, we're not affected nearly as badly as Manhattan or Chicago or the like. But what you are seeing is a shift of less office building, more residential building. And I don't think that's a bad thing. Great cities have people living in them. And so we're seeing a lot more residences. People still, particularly the talented young people, want to live in areas where they're close to other people, where there's activities. We got 4 sports teams, we got theaters, we got all kinds of activities on the waterfront. And so we're seeing a boom in housing, a little bit less in office. Is that going to shift in 2 or 3 years? I'm not sure, but I'm very happy about having more neighborhoods in the city.
That's not a bad thing. Mayor, I want to talk about a problem that continues to bedevil the city, and it basically surrounds the area of ethics. We're seeing all these problems around towing contracts. We've seen them before over demolition contracts. Serving on the city council right now seems like a pretty good way to spend too much time talking to the FBI. What do we need to do to create teeth in the ethics policies and systems in place in the city?
Well, I would say 80 to 90% of what you're seeing relates to towing. And there's no doubt that we've had a system here which for some reason 10 years ago, the city decided not to bid the towing contracts, but to grant permits to people through the police commission. And I have been undoing that a piece at a time with a lot of resistance. We've been sued by almost every tower because we took away their privileges. And now I think City Council is on board with making this be every tower is going to have an objective bidding contract. They're going to have specific assignments on rotations, and we're going to make it public who got what tow, how much you got paid for it, and we're going to add an app to your phone because people come out and their car's gone. They have no idea where it's gone. We want to have an app that says, okay, this is where it was towed. Here's your daily storage fee. We've had some real abuse on storage fees. Here's how you get it back. And we're going to make this towing transparent. But anywhere in government where there is a lot of discretionary money and not transparency, you're going to have this problem. And I think we're finally going to root the towing corruption out of the city.
Anyone who's ever had their car towed knows it's a nightmare. The dirty little secret here seems to be that towing people's cars is really lucrative all the way around. Isn't that part of the problem?
It is extremely lucrative to tow them. It's extremely lucrative to store them. And if you can't figure out where your car is for 3 or 4 days, you get a huge storage fee when you were trying to find it. The number, I mean, it's been awful. And it was grandfathered into the police commission. I'm really proud of the police commission last year. They voted almost unanimously to get out of the business. And I had a lot of conversations with them that said, you want to get out of this business before the feds put you out of the business. And I think now we're going to be into a place where we get it cleaned up. But you saw individual officers making money, skewing tows to particular contractors. And you still haven't publicly reported on the main contractor who was behind all this. But we've got, we've had a bad situation for a while. We've cleaned most of the bad actors out. It's easy to find them. They all sued me.
Probably a mark of some kind of success then. Mayor, lastly, I want to let you make the appeal here that there is just a couple of days left for people seeking amnesty for having not been driving around with auto insurance for a long time. You've been trying to urge people to get that in line here before the 31st.
Well, the numbers are phenomenal.
Yes.
160,000 people are now insured because they could afford it that weren't insured 3 years ago. The bill hasn't been perfect, but it's dramatically cut rates and it's made insurance available. But we put a provision in the bill that normally, if you haven't had insurance for a couple of years, you come back in, the insurance company can charge you a premium because you had not been in. You are protected against that premium through December 31st. After that, if you haven't been insured in the last couple of years, they can jack up your initial charge. So if you're thinking about insuring your car, do it before December 31st.
Yeah. Mayor, I got to leave it there. I got to get to a break. But thanks so much for the time. I hope you enjoy the rest of the holidays. We'll talk to you again soon. I hope about priorities for 2022.
Thanks, David.
You bet. Thanks.